videos. In this time, I'm going to talk about the NFL 2023 season, the week two, the scores. We're just already finished the week two of NFL, where we have a double header in Monday night, where Saints defeated 2017 the Panthers and Steelers defeated 26-22. So today I'm going to talk about each game of the week two, where this week started the last Tuesday, when in that game the Eagles defeated 34-28 the Vikings. This game was dominated by the Eagles, but they couldn't close the game, and for that reason the game was closer than what the score said. In the first half, the Eagles dominated the game, but the Eagles were leading the game by 6 points, 13-7. In the fourth quarter, the Philadelphia Eagles scored 14 points and the Vikings 7, and the game was 27-14. But in the second quarter, in the last quarter, the Vikings had the game 28 to 21. But later, the Philadelphia Eagles scored a touchdown that was enough to win the game. And in the last minute, when the game was defined, in the last minutes of the game, the Vikings scored the last touchdown and closed the game to 34-28. But that wasn't enough, and the Eagles won its second game, 34-28. And in this moment, they have the record 2-0, and the Minnesota Vikings have a 0-2 record. And in the Sunday game, in the Sunday game, the first ship game, the Cincinnati Bengals lost 24-27 against the Baltimore Ravens. This was a surprise because the Cincinnati Bengals aren't playing a very good football, especially Joe Burrow. That they got a new contract. He's now a millionaire person, but they have been playing. They are not playing a very good football. In the in the first half, the Cincinnati Bengals were losing by 3 points, 10-13, and in the second half, each team scored 40 points. Each team, and in the end, the Baltimore Ravens won this game 27-24. The Baltimore Ravens in this moment are leading the AFC North, and the Cincinnati Bengals are down in the last place in the AFC North. This is a very important statistic. Just 11% of the teams that started 0-2 in a NFL season reach the playoffs. But what is most concerned here is that the Cincinnati Bengals aren't playing a very good football. Now, football. In another game, the Detroit Lions lost 31-37 Seattle Seahawks in overtime. This again, the Detroit Lions become the Detroit Lions, because remember in the first week they did the surprise when defeated the reigning champion Kansas City as a away team. But now they come back to be the Detroit Lions, and the Seattle Seahawks play a better football. In the halftime, the Detroit Lions were leading the game by one touchdown, 14-7. But in the second quarter, the Seattle Seahawks were leading and they were playing better. Actually, they were leading by more than 7 points the game, and it looked like that the Seattle Seahawks were gonna to win this game. But in the end, the Detroit Lions tied the game 31-31 and sent the game to the overtime. In the overtime, I thought that the Detroit Lions were gonna to win this game because they overcome and tie the game. But no, the Seattle Seahawks scored in the only position of the overtime. They scored a touchdown and they won the game 37-37. And in this moment, both teams have one win and one lose. In another game, this is a divisional game. The Indianapolis Colts defeated as a away team 31-20 to Houston, Texas. In my opinion, these two teams will be again one of the worst teams in the NFL this season. But since the Indianapolis Colts defined this game in the first half of the game, where they scored a 4 touchdown in the first half. They were leading in the halftime 28-10. Later in the second half, the Indianapolis Colts relaxed the game, but the game was defined where the Houston Rockets trying to reduce the advantage, but in the end it wasn't enough, and Indianapolis Colts won the game 31-20 and won its first game of the season, and the Houston are winless. The record is 0-2. In another surprise, another team that I'm very surprising is that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeated 27-17 Chicago Bears. I am surprised because I didn't expect that Baker Mayfield was playing a very good football, and I'm very disappointed because it's supposed that the Chicago Bears had a very good offense where they broke better players, but it looked like they are not play they did the structure very well in the sorry in the whole time. The Tampa Bay were leading the game by 3 points, 13-3. In the second half, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers scored another 14 points, and the Chicago Bears just 7. And in the end, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won this game 27-17. We can see here what was the difference because the Buccaneers had 437 total yards, and the Bears just 236. The Buccaneers had 370 passing yards and 120 yards, and this was the difference to win the game. And in the Bears, they had 167 passing yards and just 67 running yards, and here was the difference to lose the game. And the big difference here was that the Bears allowed 6 sacks and the Bucs 0, and this was and Justin Field had 2 interceptions. And now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are with 2-0 record, and the Chicago Bears 2-0, and it looks like that again the Chicago Sox are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. In another game of the first shift, the Jacksonville Jaguars lost 1-17 to Kansas City, the reigning champion. In the first half, this game was very close, and the Jacksonville Jaguars didn't take advantage because the Kansas City aren't playing a very good football, but they know how to win. This is one of the skills that the Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes have, like Tom Brady and the Patriots, because they know how to win plays, even how to win games, even when they don't play a very good football. This wasn't a very good a good game for the Kansas City, but they knew how to win this game. In the first half, also the game was had a little points, and this was very weird. In the first half, the Kansas City Chiefs were leading the game 7-6 in the halftime. But in the second half, the Kansas City scored 10 points, and that was the difference to win the game, 17-9. We can see, but I think the difference here was that the Jaguars just run 74 yards, and the Kansas City 101, and the Jaguars allow 4 sacks, and the Kansas City just 1, and the Jaguars had one interception. But I think that the big opportunity here that the Jaguars didn't take advantage was that the Kansas City had 2 turnovers, 2 fumble and 1 interception, and they couldn't take advantage of these losses and of these turnovers, and score 4-7. And this one of the main reason why the Jacksonville didn't win this game, and they lost the game 9-17. Now both teams have the same record, 1-1. And one important statistic or fact that I heard in the last Sunday is that this was the only game that the Kansas City Chiefs will play in the first shift in the 1 p.m. All the other 50 other 15 games that the Kansas City will play in the regular season will we play in the second shift in the 16 Eastern time or in the prime time games. And in another game, the Falcons defeated 25-24 the Packers. This was a very close game, but to be honest, the Green Bay Packers had the advantage of more than 10 points in the end of the third quarter, and I couldn't believe it how they wasted this disadvantage and how the Atlanta Falcons overcome this deficit and won the game 25-24. The big difference here was in the last quarter where the Atlanta Falcons scored 30 points and won the game by one point. If we can see the game, the Falcons had 146 total yards, 235 by passing yards, and 211 by running game. This was the big difference to win the game. And the Packers had 224 total yards, 140 by pass, and 84 by run, and they ran last 84 yards. So the Atlanta Falcons won the game by 1 point. They overcome a 10-point deficit and won the game and won its second game of the season. And the Green Bay lost its first game of the season, and the record is 1-1. And was an easy game for the Buffalo Bills, where they won the game 38-10 to Las Vegas Raiders. The Buffalo Bills wanted to send a message to the league, where because remember that they lost in the first week of the season in the Monday Night Football against the New York Jets, remember, where Aaron Rodgers got injured, and they won where Josh Allen had 3 interceptions, and he wanted to send a message, and the Buffalo Bills sent a message where they didn't have any problem to defeat the to defeat the Las Vegas Raiders 38-10. In the first half, they were leading the game by 10 points, 21-10, but the big difference was in the second quarter, where the Buffalo Bills didn't allow points, 0 points for the Las Vegas in the second half, and the Buffalo Bills scored 70 points, and in the end, the Buffalo Bills won the game 38-10. If we go to the statistics, the big difference was that the Buffalo Bills had 450 yards against 240 by the Las Vegas, and the big difference was in the running game, where the Buffalo Bills ran by 183 yards, and the Raiders less than 155. And the Raiders have 3 turnovers, 1 fumble and 2 interceptions that Buffalo Bills took advantage of that. And now, with this score, both teams have the same record, 1-1. And another game that was sent to overtime in the last game of the first shift, the Tennessee Titans defeated 27-24 against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers is a different case, different case that the Kansas City Chiefs, because the Los Angeles Chargers have a lot of talent, but they don't know how to play how to win and close the games, because they have everything to win, and when they have the opportunity to win, for example, most of the time they are winning the game, but they don't know how to win the game, and in the end they lose that game. They are the NFL, the Cruz Azul of the NFL's Cruz Azul, because remember the Cruz Azul lost a lot of games when they are winning. Well, in the first half, the game also was always close, where in the halftime, the Los Angeles Chargers were leading this game by 4 points, 14-10. And in the second half, the Tennessee Titans scored 40 points and Los Angeles Chargers 10, and the game was sent to overtime. And in the overtime, the Tennessee Titans stopped the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Tennessee Titans just needed to a field goal to win the game. And with this with this field goal, they won the game 27-24. Here, one important thing that I think was the difference. One of the difference was that Tennessee won the game. Is that Tennessee ran by 141 yards, and the Chargers by less than 100 yards, 61 yards, and and the Tennessee allowed 5 sacks, and the Chargers three sacks. But how I tell you, Los Angeles Chargers always look for ways to lose the game, even when they are leading the game, but a lot of points. They don't know how to win. They don't know how to win the games. And now the Tennessee Titans have recorded 1-1, and Los Angeles have recorded 0-2. And in the games of the second shift, the Los Angeles Rams lost 23-30 against the San Francisco 49ers in Los Angeles. To be honest, this game was closer than what I expected, because I didn't expect that Los Angeles Rams had the game closer in the end of the game. Where in the first half they were having they were fighting a lot against the San Francisco 49ers, and I thought that the San Francisco 49ers were gonna to have an easy game like the last week against the Pittsburgh. In the halftime, the game was tied 70-17. In fact, the Los Angeles Rams were leading the game 70-10, but in the end, in the last play of the halftime, the San Francisco 49ers tied the game 70-70 with a touchdown. But the big difference here was that the San Francisco scored scored 30 points against 6 points, and this was the difference to win the game 30-23. But in the last minutes of the game was defined, and in the end, the San Francisco won the game 30-23. And the big difference again was the running game, because the San Francisco ran by 159 yards, and the Los Angeles just ran 89 running yards. And the Los Angeles Rams had 2 interceptions, and the San Francisco none. So now Los Angeles Rams lost his first game of the season. They have recorded 1-1, and the San Francisco 49ers have recorded 2-0. In another game, Arizona Cardinals lost the game 28-31 against New York. This was a very surprising, because the Arizona were leading the game 20-0 in the halftime. I thought that the New York Giants were going to lose a game, but the New York Giants had a tremendous second half. Well, they scored the 31 points, and they won the game 31-28. Of course, the New York Giants, they don't need to celebrate a lot, because the Arizona Cardinals are one of the worst teams in the league. But it's amazing how they overcome this score. But again, the Arizona Cardinals are very bad team. And now, the Arizona Cardinals have recorded 0-2, and the New York Giants won his first game of the season. And another game, the Dallas Cowboys won the game 30-10 against the New York Jets. The Dallas Cowboys controlled this game. They didn't have any problem to win this game. In the halftime, the Dallas Cowboys were leading the game 18-10, and in the second half, the big difference was that the Dallas Cowboys didn't allow points, and they scored 30 points, and in the end, they won the game 30-10, and won his second game of the season. And the New York Jets lost his first game of the season. To be honest, this game didn't reflect, this score didn't reflect all the dominance that the Dallas Cowboys have in the game, because the Dallas defense had provoked 4 turnovers, 1 fumble, and 3 interceptions, and they could have scored more points. And another amazing game. The Denver Broncos lost his second game of the season, and second in home, 33-35 against the Washington Commanders. And this was a very surprise. The Denver Broncos were playing a very good football in the first half of the game, where they were leading the game 21 21-11. Yeah, but I think that the typing point was that when Russell Westbrook was running, was a play, and instead that he passed the ball, he ran by left side, and and he lost the ball in a fumble, and it was the tipping point. So after that play, the Washington Commanders played better. They just scored 21 points in the second half and just allowed 12 points. And in the end, the Washington Commanders won the game 35-33. This was a very funny game because in the end of the game, the Denver Nuggets, the Russell Westbrook throw Hail Mary and was completed, but in the two points conversation they missed, and in the end the Washington Commanders won the game 35-33. And with this score, the Denver Nuggets have a 0-2 record and the Washington Commanders a 2-0 record. A very surprising for the Washington Commanders. And in the Sunday Night Football, the Miami Dolphins defeated 24-17 to New England Patriots. To be honest, the Miami Dolphins dominated this game. They were better than the New England Patriots, and the score didn't reflect the dominance of the Miami. Miami were leading in the halftime 21-3, but in the second half they relaxed a little when they allowed in the last quarter 40 points by the New England, but they scored one touchdown that was enough, and with this score the Miami Dolphins won the game 24-17, and with this they won the second game of the season, recorded 2-0, and New England have recorded 0-2. And yesterday we had a double header in Monday Night Football, where in the first game, the Carolina Panthers defeated 0-2 to New Orleans Saints. This game was a little bored, where most of the point was in the second half, because in the first half the game was 6-3. They were leading by New Orleans Saints, and in the second half we had more emotion, where New Orleans scored 40 points and Carolina scored 40 points, but in the end, the New Orleans had always advantage and won the game 2017. And with this score, the Carolina Panthers had his second loss of the game of the season, and New Orleans won his second game of the season. And in the last game of the week, the Pittsburgh Steelers won the game 26-22. This was to be honest, the Cleveland Browns played better than the Steelers, but thanks to the Steelers defense, the Steelers won the game. But how I say, Pittsburgh didn't win the game. The Cleveland Browns lost the game because they dominated this game, but thanks to our defense, the Steelers won the game. Just so you know, the Steelers offense scored 12 points in the game, but the Steelers defense scored 40 points in the game, and this was difference to won the game 26-22. And with this score, the Steelers won his first game of the season, and the Cleveland Browns lost his first game of the season. If you want to know more about this game, click in the link that comes here. So, how are the standings after two weeks in the AFC? In the AFC East, the Dolphins are leading the division 2-0, and the Jets and the Bills have the same record 1-1, and the Patriots are 0-2. In the AFC West, the Raiders and Chiefs are in the first place, tie 1-1. Jaguars and Broncos are in the last place, 0-2. In the AFC North, the Ravens are leader the division 2-0, and the Steelers and Browns have the same record 1-1. And the last place are the Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals, 0-2. And in the AFC South, the Jaguars and Colts and Titans are tied in the first place, and the last place are the Houston Texans with record 0-2. And the National Football Conference in the West, the Cowboys, Eagles, and Washington are tied in the first place with record 2-0, and Giants are the last place with record 1-1. And the NFC West, the San Francisco 49ers are leading the division 2-0, are the only team leading, and the Rams and Seahawks are tied in the second place with record 11-11. 1-1, and the last play are the Cardinals, record 0-2. And the NFC North, the Packers and Lions are tied in the first place with record 1-1, And in the last place are the Vikings and Bears with record 0-2. And the NFC Sur, the Falcons, Saints, Buccaneers, and Falcons, Saints, and Buccaneers are tied in the first place with record 2-0, and the Panthers are the last place with record 0-2. So here's what my opinion about how are about the games that were played in the NFL Week 2 2023 season. See you next video. Gibran.